Hey guys, it's Charles Osterlund here with Liquid Blue Cabarete in Cabarete, Dominican Republic, bringing you an interesting video. As you can tell, we're Liquid Blue. We're gonna be going out, we're gonna be going out to teach someone special. Ben from the shop. He's been wanting to learn how to wing foil, and you know, with work, with life, never really adds up. But I told him, Ben, today's the day. We're gonna go learn how to wing foil. And let me cross the street here. Alright. Hopefully you can still hear me. I didn't bring the microphones, but what we're gonna be doing today, and this might be an actual interesting video for you guys out there learning how to wing foil, because this is gonna be sort of a live demo of someone learning how to wing foil. I'm gonna be filming him on land and on the water. It's sort of his first time, and what I mean by sort of is that he actually has been practicing once in a while. Like, he comes to the beach and he plays with the wing. You know, he always sees the videos in the shop, so he knows about the wing. He's a boogie boarder. We never posted up the video, but he did about an hour, 2 hours, 2 hours of kiting. So he knows a little bit of wind sports, even though the kiting part, actually we went in the water, we just never on the board. But basically today, he's gonna get the rundown. So we're gonna spend 1 hour roughly of messing on the beach, seeing what he knows from the videos and what to improve on. And then we're going to basically see how he does on the water. And in terms of gear, you know, he watches all the videos and he's like, hey Charles, what board are we gonna take out? And I was like, you watch all the videos, you should know. And he wanted to go out with a 110 liter and a 1800 wing. But then I told him, are you sure you don't want the 130 with the 2200 foil, the biggest setup we have in the shop? And he's like, nah, I'll be fine. And then in the end, it looks like he set up the biggest board. So here he is. Here's Ben.
Hey guys.
Ben. And we got the board, we got the helmet. So Ben, we got to get your impact vest on, and we got to get the board going. But in any case, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna see what he remembers from all the videos, what he remembers from the lessons that are happening. And we already see Ben doing some things that are a little bit dangerous. You know, he's okay, there we go. He's leaving the wing unattended. And when you're in a windy place, you always want to make sure you tie your wing to something so it doesn't fly away, essentially. But in any case, he's gonna get his helmet, impact vest, and if you want, for fun, you can put the leash belt or just leave the leash belt out. And here you get the 5.0 prepared. If we look at the conditions are not bad. It's probably blowing 15 to 18 knots out there. So on a 5 meter, we got way more than enough power. And we always like to be a little bit more powered than underpowered, so we don't have to work as much. There you go. Ben's got his impact vest. He's got his hoodie. You put on sunscreen, Ben? No sunscreen. Alrighty. He's the local. So this is gonna be interesting, and we're gonna film this live. I just showed up at the beach. He's got everything set up. Out of curiosity, what did you set the wing to? How much pressure did you put in the wing?
I put, I think 8.
8? In the leading edge?
Exactly in the middle, like 10.
10?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Let's check it out. Yeah, it'll work. Me, I always like to put the wings nice and hard. So when it recommends 8 PSI, I usually go up 1 or 2 PSI, but using the recommended PSI is always gonna do the trick. But in any case, I do always like to give that extra rigidity to the wings overall. But in any case, let's get your helmet on and let's go to the beach. Even though we're on the beach, but let's go closer to the beach. You get your wing? Wing? Yeah. We'll leave this stuff here. I did bring a banana. A little bit hungry. We've had some stuff happening. Ben, you want some banana or you're all good? All right. So let's go down to the beach. Let's find a spot. We'll go down between there. Cheers to the banana. All right, Ben. So what do you know so far?
Well, a little bit wing control. Little bit.
You know a little bit of wing control?
Yeah.
All right, let's see it. Let's make sure we get our leash on. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna try to spend around on the beach around 20 minutes playing around, learning some of the basic exercises. And then once Ben gives us the green light and he's like, yeah, I think I'm good to go, and we see that his wing control is good, then we're gonna let it rip and we're gonna go into the water. So here we go, Ben. Okay, here we control it, but natural. All right. How's the wind feel? Does it feel like you have a lot of power?
Yeah.
A lot of power? It's good. All right. And the other side, let's see when you play the wing on the other side. Hey, you got nice control. Nice control. All right. So you feel like there's a lot of power, yeah?
Yeah, but this side is more hard than the regular one.
It feels a little bit different. All right, perfect. So we're gonna be practicing this side a little bit more. So already now I can see that you're very stable. What I'm gonna like you to do is I'm gonna like you to try to bring the wingtip down as close as you can to the sand without letting the wing touch. So try to bring it down. How are you gonna control it? Uh-huh. Oh. So how do you think you're gonna control the wing to bring it down or to bring it to the other side? Either way, how would you do that?
Well, this hand needs to be this position, but this one.
All right, so remember that your backhand, generally speaking, is gonna be the hand that helps with steering, okay? So if you press with your hand this way, or if you pull that way, you see how it's moving, okay? So what you're gonna wanna do is always remember that, okay, you can pull in down to your hip to generate power. But you see there that when you don't apply a certain pressure, you see how I'm applying just a gentle pressure and how the wing is moving a certain way? You see that? So you want to remember that with your backhand, you can steer by lightly pushing one way or pulling down in another way. And you see, if you keep pulling down, what happens? The wing crashes, right? How do you bring the wing back up from here? You can press down with to your hip, pull up with your front hand, and you see it goes back up. All right? So imagine when you're in the water, sometimes you might have the wing that's gonna touch the water, right? And then it sort of gets stuck. But all you gotta remember is if you pull and you press down and then you lift up with your front hand, you're gonna be able to pop it up out of the water, all right? And then your front hand here, if it's fully extended, okay, let's have both of our hands extended, you feel that it has some power, right?
Yeah.
Pull on your backhand a little bit, you see that now the wing engages, right? Okay, and now extend your front hand and your backhand, and now pull on your front hand to see what happens. What happens there? You lose power, right? So your front hand, you ideally want to keep it generally pretty extended.
Yep.
And when we're going to be on the board, we're going to want to almost keep it a little bit with the ear as a good reference point of height, okay? And with our backhand, that's going to be the hand that we're going to be using to steer and also generate power. So we don't want it always to be moving our backhand because we want to keep the wing steady, and you're doing very good by keeping it nice and steady. But now what you want is to try to do that pulling up a little bit, so you bring the wingtip down, right? And bring it exactly. But one thing is of why it feels a bit weird is just like in kiteboarding, you want to remember to keep your back to the wind, right? So if you're too sideways, then the wind doesn't work properly. And you see that all these guys that are out here riding, you know, they have their backs sort of back or side on to the wind, but they're never side on or looking directly into the wind. So we want to remember that we want to keep our backs generally to the wind.
The same.
Generally speaking. Yeah, the same as kiting, right? So all right, let's bring that wing up. And let's just see how your body is sideways. There, you see the difference?
Yeah.
Exactly. So you sort of want to be a little bit into the wind and almost a little bit more. There you go. There you go. Because remember, the wind is coming in, whoop, right into your sail, right? So if the wing is too far up, into the wind, then it's not going to work out, all right? So with your backhand, you have it quite high. Your front hand is good, but your backhand is also quite high. So just try to get into a sort of a bit of a natural stance there. You feel in control? You feel very tense?
A little bit. But
Yeah, because I feel here you're tense. You're like muscling it. So just relax. Try to control the wing with 2 fingers. All right, you see, you don't need much strength. Okay. And now let's try the other side. Yeah. Super. So there's already a few things with Ben that he already has a little bit of knowledge in certain aspects. So I don't want to be overloading him. With fixing all the potential mistakes that are happening. Though, little by little, we're going to be carving away at some of the things where he can improve upon in terms of his control. So here we can see he's messing around, feeling it. One thing you're going to want to make sure you avoid is when the wing, if you bring your hand and then the wing goes right behind you. You see that? Boom. How are you going to fix this? I'm helping you right now, but how are you going to fix this? Yeah, there you go. Leave it on the sand for now. So we'll take this time to do the exercise. So what is the exercise you remember of how to flip the wing around when you're in the water? Because in the water, you're not going to be standing. Yeah, so let's get down on our knees though, and let's do that exercise. Because that's somewhat the level where you're gonna be in the water, right? So you're gonna have the wind there, right? Let's let it blow away. It's blowing away, okay, yeah. Bring it in. Try to get in the habit of going as far as you can to the wingtip. So let's flip it over one more time. Because on land, it's easy. But when we're in the water, there's a lot of things happening. So go all the way to the edge, yeah. So keep going, go. Your leash, you see how it's stretching? Just keep it stretching as much as you can. And now try to flip it from there. Wow, you see how much easier? There you go. So it's good to get into the habit of that when we're there. And now since we're here on our knees, let's do the exercise of, let's imagine that this is, drawing you a board here, Ben. This is a really bad board. This is the center of it. No, here, very good, very good. So here we are, we're just gonna draw a board. It's a very big board, but this is the center of the board, okay? And then this is the nose. So we're gonna imagine that this line is here. Okay, so we're gonna get onto our board and we're gonna get on our knees. Exactly. So when we're on our board, we're gonna wanna make sure that we sort of line up straight onto the board. There's some people in the middle. There's some people that have the technique of being with their feet to the side. Have you seen that one? Like this, exactly. And they have their feet off of the board or something like that. It's a little bit more complicated and it's not gonna work out that well when you go on smaller boards. So we wanna avoid that technique sort of overall. And we wanna work with that, exactly. So when we're in this position, okay, we're gonna wanna get our wing. Whatever way you want, that's easy. All right, and we're gonna keep our wing like that on there. So now we're on our board, okay, and the board is rocking. So one way of holding the wing is like that, or you could also hold the rope. And you can hold the rope, exactly, in your hands, but you wanna hold it like this, so in case you need to hold your board, you can hold your board, right? And you see your wing is not going anywhere when you're holding it like that. It's the same as holding the handle, but a little bit easier. So now we're there, and let's say we're gonna go up and get riding. So now we gotta get our wing above our heads. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. So you see already, you're generating some power, yeah? But one thing is, that's a little bit different than when you're standing, is that the wing now is a lot closer to the water. So you wanna make sure, sort of going back to that exercise, of keeping that wing nice and high, and making sure that, okay, if it touches the water, it's not the end of the world. But what are you gonna do? So try to touch the water. Exactly.
Like
right?
Scoop or something.
You're sort of like scooping it, yeah. But you saw how it pulls you, a lot of power, yeah? So if you do that with a lot of power, very sudden, then you might generate so much power where you fly off the board. and then once you fly off the board, then you have to reset again. So we wanna try to keep the wing in control and as high up off the water as we can in general. Now, if it gets close, it doesn't matter, but we try to bring it up as high as we can so that it's just getting enough power and it's also pulling us in the direction that we want to go, right? So now from here, what we're gonna wanna do, and I know you practiced a little bit before, is the pumping. How do you pump? If you wanna do it with one hand or two hands. Let's try it with our one hand first. So one-handed pumps is just pulling our backhand, exactly, down to our hip, right? So we pull it down to our hip, and that's sort of generating power. You feel that?
Yep.
And now if you want to do it two hands, how would it look like, you think? Exactly. So when you're scooping with two hands, try to extend your arms as far as you can and bring it down. Exactly. You feel that? And you want to remember that your back hand, you're going to want to keep it a little bit shorter than your front hand. Because if your front hand is shorter than your back hand, what happens? No power, less power, right? So you're going to be working double. And we don't want to work double here because they're not paying us double when we're working double. So there you go. So you always want to try. This is going to take a little bit of time to get better at. But for now, on a nice windy day, with 2 or 3 backhand pumps, right? We go 1, 2, and 3. But just one-handed though, one-handed. Yeah. So now already we're gonna be moving once we're on the water, okay? Epa, you're almost moving on the land. So you're gonna be moving on the water. Now that you're moving on the water, we're gonna wanna go from knee to standing, right? So how are we gonna do that? So we're already moving a bit, yeah? Boom, boom. All right, now we're gonna do that a couple times. So we're gonna go from knee to standing. We're gonna get on our knees again, right? And we're gonna do it from knee to standing. 3 pumps, boom, boom. All right. So you see, one thing you're gonna have to work on there is trying to keep your wing nice and high and get up a little bit more stable, because what you're doing is that you're lifting your back foot off and it's gonna put you off balance when you're on the water. So what would you want to do instead is, I'm gonna show you here, is you're gonna go like this, boom, instead of this. Right, you see the difference? What?
One more time.
Yeah. So when you're on your knees, you're gonna put your front foot forward. All you're gonna do with your back foot is up. Instead of, you have your front foot down, you take your back foot, and then you lift up to get standing. Because that's gonna help you get a little bit more established. And then once you're standing, you can move. Boom, and then just pop up. There you go. And that's why if you put your foot too far forward, you're gonna be in an awkward stance, and you wanna close up your stance, because all you need is a shoulder with the foot stance. And then there you adjust to whatever feels natural. Okay, but try to do that with the wing in power, because now you're just doing it holding the wing, but do it normal. And we're gonna practice this 3 pumps, 1, 2, and 3. Boom, boom. Yeah, perfect. All right, and then there we're gonna be generating power, and we're gonna try to get our balance. One thing is that if you get standing straight up and down really tall, you might oscillate. So sometimes you want to bend your knees a little bit just to make sure that you hold it. And what you're gonna realize is that you don't want to lean too far forward, because try to lean forward, see how it feels. Lean forward with your body, put your butt out. It feels weird, right? No control. So what you want to do is imagine you have a coin in your butt cheeks, squeeze your butt cheeks, right? It's a windsurfing trick. Yo, you want the... No, take mine.
What the...
My hand.
Yeah, but I was talking about the wing.
You want this one?
I was gonna take the line. But
All right.
it's good. No.
It's fine, switch it.
Switch?
We're gonna switch the wing. Ben, you're gonna take the 4-5.
I don't come out with the helmet.
What are you, why? Yeah, go, you want a helmet though as well?
I don't know for the video.
What video? This is Yannick, guys. He's trying to get YouTube popular. He's asking for different wings on the spot. Go get use my helmet.
I'm gonna use it here.
Yeah.
You wanna step on this real quick?
Yeah. Why are you putting it over here?
So I can grab it down.
All right, guys. So this is a last-minute switch in the video. See, things happen unintended. And it's actually good that we take the 4.5 out because it is a little bit windier, and that's gonna help Ben sort of deal with the wing that has a little bit more movement. You can get set up, Ben, no worries. That's gonna help Ben to sort of see the difference now between a 5 meter and a 4.5 meter in terms of the control, that he's gonna feel like it's a lot lighter, but it's also gonna be moving a lot quicker. So we're gonna give him a shot there. Let's see. A lot less power, yeah? A lot less power.
Good here.
All right. Remember, guys, always wear a helmet no matter what. And he doesn't have an impact vest. What do you mean you don't have one? You want this one then?
Don't worry about it. You're gonna use it. Use it.
That's fine. See, he doesn't even come with an impact vest. I didn't go far enough. All right, guys, this is all live, in the moment, happening. So, all right, Ben, we're gonna keep practicing those exercises. Do it 3 times on one side, okay? Get in the habit of doing 3 pumps. In the water, we might change our game strategy, but for now, just for the example, you keep the wing nice and high. Try to get 3 pumps so you feel the power. And then as you're standing though, you might not want to be pumping because it might throw you off balance. So all you're doing the pumping is just to get moving.
Okay.
Because when you get moving, you're gonna get stability. All right? If you're not moving at all, you might be able to stand up, but if your balance is not good, you'll just fall. But if you have forward momentum like a bicycle, you know, on a bicycle, is it easier to be riding the bicycle or staying on the bicycle without having your feet, right? So in any case, and then what you want, you do the 3 pumps because that's gonna get you moving. And then you keep a little bit of tension in your backhand so you have some power, not too much, but just so you have tension in the wing, and then boom, you go to the standing. All right? And we're gonna practice this both sides. So do 3 times this way, and then we'll do 3 times the other way. All right? And if you feel like your stance is weird, just adjust it. Okay? And right now we're not gonna focus too much on how you're standing, even though it's plus or minus fine, but we'll fix it up once we're in the water. All right? And then if you want, for the example, just walk forward 2 or 3 steps. Just walk normal. You can walk normal. Is that how you walk normally? Where are you going? You're flying away, Ben. Remember, what direction is that? If the wind is coming behind us and we're going down straight, where are we going? Downwind, right? And we want to do what? Do we want to go downwind, or do we want to go sort of crosswind, like going into it a little bit? Yeah, not fully into it, but we're going crosswind, right? So we want to go a little bit into the wind. So when you're walking, as the example, don't walk straight down. Yeah. You guys probably can't see this, but there's Yannick getting going. So when you're walking, just walk keeping tension. Yeah, and that's how you're gonna know if you're walking side on to the wind, because you're gonna feel tension. If you feel the wing is like drifting down, then you know you're walking downwind. But we're always gonna wanna sort of have a little bit of tension in our wing, and that's gonna help us where we're gonna be trying to do eventually is going up. So all right, boom, and then walk 1 or 2 steps. Exactly. Yeah, sure. Just you can do a couple of steps. Don't be scared. As normal walking. Boom, boom, boom. Super. All right. Let's practice the other side. Same thing, just reverse 3 times. So we get on our knees the other way. Oh, yeah, there you go. All right. And one thing to remember is that your knee, now that it doesn't really matter what side you have the leash on of your wing, but now it's gonna be crossing your body, okay? Don't worry about that. But just remember that it is gonna be crossing your body and it's fine. So now, try to do the strategy of holding the wing down, though, with the leash. Right? Exactly, so you get used to that. Boom. Alrighty, there you go. You feel that power?
Yeah.
You got enough power? Alright. So now, boom. But you see how the wing is moving everywhere?
Yeah.
Try to keep it steady. Do this a couple more times. Is all right?
Different.
Yeah. So try to get in the habit now of controlling the wing a bit more steady. So try to bring it down, like close to the sand or the water in our imagination, and keep it there. Try to keep it steady, down low. But you see how your body's getting all weird? Bring your shoulders back. Get yourself forward. There you go. Don't let the wing pull you. You decide where the wing goes and what it does. All right? So that's why a lot of the times you're holding a lot of the power here and in your shoulders, just so that you decide where it goes. But the worst thing is that when it's giving you power, that you extend your whole body or you do something weird. And that's why what you can do too, if you feel like it's pulling you, sort of sit in yourself, like exactly a little bit of a squat, right? And you can hold that power better so that you spread out the tension into your shoulders, into your back, and you just get into control. Alrighty. Try with this to be moving and keep the wing steady.
Oh, can I walk?
Exactly. So walk, pick a spot where you want the wing to stay, the wingtip, and try to keep it there and walk and move. As you're moving, keep moving and just fix it while you're moving. If you need to. All right, try to pump the wing twice. Yeah, there we go. Alrighty. Now let's do the other side. Let's walk towards the shore. Same thing. Pick a spot where you want the wing to stay and then just walk with it. A little bit more into the wind, just a little bit. Keep walking towards the shore, but into the wind. More to the right. There you go. Yeah. But straight down. Yeah, there you go. You're walking like an old man. All right. How you feeling, Ben?
Good.
Do you need any more questions? Do you have any questions?
Not right now, but let's keep practicing.
Right. We might have. I hope YouTube doesn't copyright that music. That'd be unfortunate. So we're gonna have to make sure that there's no copyright there. Alrighty. So everything feels good?
Yeah.
You feel fine? Alright, we're gonna go with the 4-5. Let's go up to the board. We're gonna talk a little bit about the foil, and then we're gonna go into the water. Alright? So basically, Ben says, and I believe him, he's looking alright. He says he's ready. So we're gonna get ourselves our waist leash on, we're gonna get the board, we're gonna talk a little bit about the hydrofoil, and then we're gonna hit the water, and it should be good to go. I do have one more snack here that I need to eat at the same time. Didn't have lunch. Alrighty. Ben, you're gonna come here? You gotta get the stuff. You want half a nature valley? Yeah. All right. We're gonna need to get your waist leash on, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the board. It's right here. You don't need to take it off. It's on your waist. What do you know about the foil?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'm beginner.
How does it work? Do you know?
Not really.
Did you not watch any of our videos, Ben?
Yeah. It's
don't remember-
different when you practice.
But do you realize, so for the foil, let's say for the foil to get lift, to go up into the air from the water, what does it need? Does it do it by itself? Is there a motor?
The wind
This is-
power.
It's
and
wind
then
powered. Okay.
Pumping a little bit.
Uh-huh. But what do you need? To get the foil out of the water, what do you need?
Power. Let's say.
What does power mean? Does that mean like you need speed?
Yeah.
You need to be moving. So when you're moving, you generate speed, and then you start getting lift.
Yep.
Yeah. So what else do you know that sort of behaves like that? When it moves forward, it starts getting lift. A plane?
Yeah, like a plane.
A plane, right? So a plane, when it takes off, right? It doesn't just lift off
Yeah.
and then fly. It gets speed. Once it has enough speed, boom, the whole thing has enough lift, and then it can carry It can lift essentially more weight than what it has. So that's what we're trying to do here. That's why we learn how to pump on the wing so that we can generate power, which then the power that we generate, we try to translate it into the board, which then moves the board forward, and that's just gonna generate us enough speed so to hopefully get lift and to fly. But now the mast, right, is not infinitely long.
Yeah.
How long is this mast?
75.
65,
65 is
right? 65, which is fine.
oh, man.
So with the 65, if we go 65 centimeters out of the water, what happens? We're really flying. The whole foil's out of the water. So what's gonna happen is that as we start generating speed, if everything goes right today, as we generate speed, eventually you're gonna feel the nose of the board wanting to fly out of the water, okay? And what you're gonna have to do, this is why I almost call it a dance sometimes, foiling, because as it's pushing you up, you're gonna have to push it down. You're gonna have to put weight forward. And when you put the weight forward, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna know if you're putting too much or too little, and that's why it's a dance, it's a balance. Because if you put too much weight, what's gonna happen? So I'm going up, I put too much weight, what happens? Boom, I'm gonna crash, right? But now if I give it enough weight, what's gonna happen here? So the foil's coming out of the water, what's gonna happen? I give it enough,
Wheelie.
and then no. What we're doing is sort of balancing our wheelie, right? We're not leaning too far back and we're not leaning too far forward. We're not putting too much weight back and we're not putting too much weight forward. So we're trying to find a balance. And what's gonna happen eventually, like you see all these guys wing foiling, is that the boards, if you look at them generally, they're flat. Because the pressure you're receiving that's lifting you up, you're putting sort of the equal pressure down. But what happens is that you're not putting too much where the nose dives, you're just putting enough so that it flattens out. And that's why what we're gonna wanna do with the board, right, is we're gonna wanna ride the board essentially like this, flat to the water. And all we need to do is decide the direction of the board. Now, of course, you see the guys that are a little bit more advanced, they're leaning back and they're going in an angle. But for us, we don't need to do that. We just need to point the board where we wanna go and go in that direction. Eventually, we're gonna start doing what they call edging, which is going a little bit to the side. But since we have such a big board, a short mast, what's gonna happen is that you can't really edge that well. So the only thing you can do is look where you wanna go and sort of pivot the board in that direction and go that direction. But you're gonna be relatively flat or with a slight angle, okay? So, with the board, you can tell that the foil is right here in this line, right? Yeah? So a lot of lift is gonna be right there, essentially. So if you stand too far back on the board is always gonna, exactly, it's always gonna be in an angle. And if you stand too far forward, it's always gonna be too far down. So you need to find that sweet spot, which generally speaking on this board, will be your back foot somewhere over the mast or front wing, if you have too much power, and then your other foot a little bit above. And we're gonna see in the water that we can control how much lift we get and how much lift we allow by simply either putting more weight forward or moving our back foot more to the middle, which essentially is shifting our weight. Okay? So without further to be said, let's get this board closer to the water and then we're gonna go foiling. I'm gonna bring the board up for you on the first run. And then after that, we will we'll switch up at the top. We're gonna talk a little bit in the water and we're gonna go from there. One thing to also remember is that this foil, as you can tell, is quite big and it sticks out of the board a little bit. So when we're in the water, we wanna avoid kicking our feet. If we kick our feet, then we might kick the foil and it's not gonna, it could hurt us very badly, but it's gonna bruise your leg maybe, and then that's no fun. And same thing when we get on in the back, you wanna watch out that you have a stabilizer. So I always recommend people that if you're gonna get on from the back, you really need to be flat, like you don't want your feet down. And generally speaking, you get on from the side.
Okay.
All right. And other than that, we're also gonna talk about how we get into the water and how we get out, because the shore break is essentially the place where we have the highest chance of damaging or hurting ourselves going in and out of the water. Same with the waves. Once we're outside in the middle of this area of the bay, let's see, Yang is gonna jump. Whoop, Once we're outside in the middle of the bay, then we're somewhat safe because we're in an open zone. We have no reef, and that's something good to know, that you want to know your spot. If you don't know where you're riding, then you know, you don't know the danger areas. And here, luckily, as long as you don't get all the way out to the waves where the reef is, then you're good to go. It's all deep ocean. There's nothing really there. And yeah. So all right, let me switch this camera from the to the mouthpiece, because we're going to be getting wet. And depending on how much battery we have, we will have to, or you have to do a pausa. But this is all live, so everyone sees. This is how we do it live. We'll have the camera like this for now. Alrighty, that's on. Okay. There is no cuts. Everything is live, Ben. The only cut that's gonna happen is right now, because we have 38%, and I don't know how much water we're gonna be, how much time we're gonna be in the water. So we will literally, we're gonna switch our memory, and then we're gonna be going. At the same time, we can start taking off the leash. We could unwrap the leash, Ben, from the board. No, from the board. From the board. Just unspin it. Alrighty. I'm just gonna cut this, and then we will be back on in a minute. All right, guys, we're back on. We got 100% battery. All good, guys? How's your rib? Better? Just take it easy, I guess, then. Or are you gonna go out? No. Ah, okay. I was gonna say, take it easy. If it hurts, it's better to rest. You can't. No, exactly. You can't complain then. Alrighty. Yeah, we will. We will try. You hear that, Ben?
Yes.
Have some fun. Okay, so Ben is ready. Ben, you can give a bit of a review to people as we're talking about how your lesson's going so far. I'm gonna move this gear for us. So you can just chat about what you're feeling. How do you feel, Ben? Let them know. What are you understanding about your lesson? But point the camera to yourself.
Oh.
You know. Yeah, there you go. Log it
Hey,
out.
it's Charles Osterlund here with Lake Blue Cabarete in Cabarete. So let's see. I'm going to try Wingfoiling for the first time, so I have zero experience. So let's see, guys. Where's Charles? Wow. Look at the view. There's no wave, so it's gonna be super. Well, I'm not talkative, but I don't know. I don't know what to say. There's Charles Osterlund.
I made a mistake. So I'm just gonna put my sunglasses.
So that's 130 liters. So let's see. Let's find out. It's a 6.2 F1 rocket. 22,000 front wing.
Alright, Ben. So unfortunately, I gotta take this off.
Oh man.
Unfortunately, Yannick took all of our protective gear, so we're gonna share helmets real quick, because you want to be safe out there
Come on.
while you're learning, and you don't want to ride without a helmet
Yeah.
or an impact vest, because that's gonna also help you out. But we saw Yannick out there without anything, so now I gave him everything I had. So we're just gonna split helmet. But I'll pass you the helmet once we get back there. In terms of the leash, we're gonna take this off. Here, Gonna connect it. All right. And this, I'll take it from you. All right, Ben. So to not waste any time, I'm gonna foil up the board up to the top. I'm gonna show you when I'm walking out how you should walk the board out so that it's as safe as possible. And basically, we're gonna wanna keep our wing downwind from us. So we're gonna wanna keep it down from the downwind of us. So essentially, wherever the wind's blowing, it's gonna be downwind. And then we're gonna keep the board upwind of us, okay? And I'm gonna carry the board in a way that if I ever have to let go of it, it's not gonna hit me in the arm. Because if you put your arm like this and the foil is in front of you and you let go of the board, boom. So we're gonna avoid that. The camera's gonna turn upside down and that's sort of gonna be that. And yeah, actually maybe I could foil it up like this. I'll fold it up like this. Okay, so I'll meet you up at Wingfoiling area. Alrighty. Got our 4-5. Got our helmet on. Bring the board all the way out. I can't see with the GoPro right now. There we go. Alrighty. Here we are. Ben's going. You. This is why you take lessons once in a while. Ben is coming. I'm gonna give him a little demo, and then from the demo, we are going to let him rip, let him have fun, let him check it all out. Alrighty, there he comes. He has no helmet because I am wearing his helmet. I borrowed my helmet to somebody. All right. Ben! So, I'm gonna make you a little demo here of what we're gonna do. Basically, we're gonna be on our knees on the board. We're gonna move going down with the wind, okay? We're gonna try to shift our weight into the wind so that we have a slight angle and edge upwind, okay? Because we don't want to go too far downwind or else we're gonna shoot all the way down there and we gotta walk all the way back. And you see that everyone that's winging, right, they usually stay upwind. They ride where they want to ride, they go back to where they want to go back, and everything works out. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you a little demo of going from knee to standing, and then you'll see also how I stop when I want to turn sides. Okay, and I'll do that right here. You see this guy struggling a little bit, best of luck, but it's because he's not learning the basics of how to balance himself. You can look at him, we can take a look at him real quick, just to see what's happening. Look what he's doing. right? So look how he's holding the wing, okay? The board might be a little bit too small for his level as well. Now it's his like 4th attempt there. He's doing a little bit better there, okay? You see he's pumping the wing? You see he's pumping the wing a bit? He has 3 handles though, so in my opinion, he didn't select the right one, so he's not generating that much power. This is a big wing. But either way, he's trying out, so it's good. So for what we're gonna do now, I'm just gonna do a demo. I'm gonna go out and I'll come back in and I'll go to standing, but I won't go foiling. I'll just be standing on the board and getting dragged. Okay, same thing, I'm holding the leash. I get on the board. I'm on the board, I stabilize. If I'm too far back, the board is like this. If I'm too far forward, it's gonna go into the water. I find the right place, I bring the wing up. And now I'm just chilling. Try to generate power. Once I feel a little bit of power, I stand. Not like this, not like that. I stand. There's not much wind in here. There's a wind shadow. All right. Not much wind in here. That leash flying around. Showing him different foot motions to know which ones to select and not to select. All right. There's no wind van, so come over here. All right, actually I made it a bit. Ew. Uh-huh. What? Uh-huh, a little bit. All right, I'm gonna pass you your helmet. Make sure to always wear a helmet, always protective equipment, no matter if you're a teacher, no matter if you're anybody. You gotta wear it. Okay. All right, the board, yeah, get your leash on. Remember, when you're coming back to shore and you get to the waves, you start taking off your leash, okay? Because you'd rather not be connected to 10 different things if a wave is gonna take you. Because then you'll be spaghetti, and we want spaghetti. Take this leash off of me. One thing when you're transferring the leash, this one, is that you wanna keep holding this until they connected, okay? So you take it off, and you see I'm holding the wing for you until you get it on. And here, you don't wanna just let go and say, oh, bye, because then the wing just flies away. So you get it on, I'm holding it for you. Once I see you secure it, boom. Okay, so we're gonna do the exercise with me holding on to you from the back a little bit, and if I see you're doing good, then you'll just go solo. All right? Yeah. So get on first, don't worry about the wing. Okay, and just get on your knees to see it. One thing is, you see with the leash that's on your feet, so either with your hand, you sort of swipe behind, exactly, boom. Okay, so I'm not holding the board at all. So you see with your knees, apply pressure. There you go, to where you want to stabilize, perfect. Okay, and after that, let's try to get to our wing. Yeah, don't worry. Once you grab your wing, okay? Yep. Put pressure on it, on the handle or on the rope. But for example, if you need a stability, put pressure down on the water with the wing. With the wing, put pressure down. However you want, but hold the handle maybe better. Okay? And you see it gives you a bit of balance. If you push it down into the water, it gives you a bit of balance. You see that?
Yeah.
So if you ever need any help, you could go like this, and then when you feel like you're ready, you bring the wing up and you get moving. Remember, when you're not moving is when you struggle. So you'd rather be moving than not moving. And if you're not moving because you're tired or whatever, you just sit on the board and you chill until you're ready. So right now I'm helping you by holding the board a bit. Here I'm not holding it at all. You see the balance? So there I was helping you by holding it in the back. All right, Now with your waist, try to turn the board to me. Can you do it with your hips? Try to scoot the board using your abs. There you go. And change hands. Yeah. Perfect. So that right there is a great skill, because now that's gonna help you try to bring the board even more up. All the way up, all the way up. You see that? So that's gonna help you bring the board into the wind when you need it. Try to spin the other way now. Whoop. Try it. I'm gonna push you a bit out because you're a bit, you're shallow. All right, super, that's really good. And bring it more into the wind. Good. So now, what you're gonna wanna do when you're gonna be going out to sea, you wanna make sure that you keep pressure on the wind side. So as you're moving, you could put a little bit of pressure here, so the board sort of tilts a little bit to the side. No, with your knees, with your weight, right? And then the board's gonna tilt a little bit to the side, and you're gonna go into the wind. But if you go too much into the wind, what's gonna happen? If you go too much into the wind, just like a kite, what happens if the kite goes right into the wind? Like no power, right? You'll stop. So you need to find the balance of into the wind and downwind and find the middle point. Crosswind, exactly. Alrighty, so here we are now. Okay, let's get the wing up. And once you start moving, which you're gonna start moving right away, a little bit of weight forward and a little bit of pressure on the wind side, and just go out and stay on your knees for a little bit. And if you feel like you have a lot of power, try to stand up. But then make sure you keep weight forward, okay? And then once you go out a little bit, just stop and turn around and try to do the same thing coming back. We're not trying to foil right now, okay? We're just trying to be moving. Yeah, but you're not, I'm holding onto the board. I'm gonna let go, okay? So try to go out and then go out for a little bit, you know, like for 20, 30 seconds, and then try to come back to shore. And remember to lean into the wind, both the ways, or put weight into the wind. I'm not gonna give you too much more information. Let's see what you do, okay? I'm letting go now. You're gonna be moving now. Turn your waist, exactly, more, your waist. Yeah, keep going, up until you get into the wind. You're going straight downwind, Ben. All right. So it's Ben's first time on the water with the board. There's a lot of information that you can cover, but you don't want to overload. Even though already it seems like there's a lot of information, there's even more to go. So now it's about Ben doing his first runs, and we see what he does naturally and then see what we need to add or whatnot. Ben, don't worry, you can go out again. Go out, try 3 or 4 times out, and then come back to shore the next 3 or 4 times, okay? And remember, if you see me going like this, it's come in. If I go like that, you're going out. And if you need to have a bit more power or a bit more stability, just sit on your heels a bit more and it's gonna give you more weight backwards. Let's see if he corrects. You guys probably can't see this, but he's going pretty downwind. See if I zoom in. Yeah, we're zooming in. Flip pop. Try to stand up. Ben. And try to stand up. Stand up. He's worried about going far out to the ocean. Luckily here it's a great spot. See not many people. Oh, he just fell on the wing. It's a great spot, not too many people, open space. There is a bit of a wind shadow in this inside spot where you get started, though once you get out about 50, 100 meters, then the wind is full on, or if you start more down. So it's good. A little bit of shore break though. Kids playing in the shoreline. Todo bien. Esa ola viene grande. All right, Ben's making his way back. Let's see. Oh. He did mention that there is one side that's a bit more awkward than the other. So he's gonna have to figure that one out. But interestingly enough, sometimes the side that you say is awkward when you're on land is actually the side you like more when you're on the water. So that sometimes works in reverse. But in any case, nothing that cannot be overcome. So you got Ben there doing the strategy, flipping the wing, important, getting back up, taking it easy. What's important during the lesson as the student is to, you know, it's unfortunate that the sport works generally anywhere you go to learn on an hourly basis in terms of how you pay for a lesson. And that sometimes makes people want to rush because they don't want to lose time. But it's important that sometimes you need to slow down to go fast. And a lot of people forget that, and then they're just rushing, they burn their energy, and they're not focused, they're stressing out. And it's important just to remain calm, have fun, and enjoy the process. So here we got Ben. Messing around, it's first time. So I see already that he has room to improve with his hand position on the wing, how he's holding it, but he's probably forgetting about that because there's a lot of elements happening. So it's important that he now, when I give him feedback, that he realizes, okay, let me go step by step. Let me make sure that the wing is good. Let me make sure that I'm in control of the wing. Let me adjust my body position on the board. Let me make sure my weight is okay. And sort of do a mental checklist of all the things that are sort of unnatural right now, but eventually with time, they will become natural and they'll be intuitive. It'll be a feeling thing more than a remembering thing. You're gonna have muscle memory. Ben, how's it going? Yeah, sure. You're gonna have one side that you're gonna be better on normally. But the thing is, your hand position, hold the wing a little bit higher, okay? And keep your hands more in the center of the handles. They're really far forward, so the wing is just low to the ground. So move your hands a little bit more back so the wing's a bit higher, and keep it above your head. Keep your front hand near your ear, almost, as a reference point. There you go, yeah, a little bit awkward. So you keep the wing up and use your body to twist. Twist the board towards me while keeping your wing higher up. You're gonna have a wave coming. All right. It's all good though for your first run. I'm gonna grab, make sure you can take your leash off. There's Yannick, let's see if he goes for a jump. Transition. Yeah, make sure you take your leash off. De la tabla. I'll hold your wing for you. Not as easy as you think, right? All right, let me see the helmet, please. Yeah? So one thing is, where's the board? Come here, board. Didn't grab it. Board is going. There we go. Okay. So you did good. The only thing is that since I'm just gonna go out here to talk, Ben. One sec. Fix this digital zoom. All right. So the only thing is that it's your first time. So don't worry too much. You know, there's a lot of things that we have to work on, and you don't learn in 20 minutes. But the biggest thing is gonna be keeping that wing nice above your head, right? Keeping the arm near your ear a little bit. And you saw how you need to use your body, your core, essentially, to put the board where you want it. The whole time, the board was like this, down.
That's hard.
So you need to try to use your core and sit on your feet so that the board goes like this, up into the wind, up into the direction where you want it. Because if you're putting too much weight forward, all right, or balanced, you might have a hard time pulling it at the same time that the wing is pulling you. So just sit on your feet a bit more, and that's gonna lift the board up out of the water a little bit, just a little, and then you're gonna apply weight and you're gonna have like this sort of angle where it's not totally flat and it's a little bit on its side and going. But other than that, once you keep your arms up, don't be afraid to go further out. You didn't go far at all. You know, you were like right there. I can almost grab you with my hands. So don't be afraid. Like where Yannick is, just so you know, do you think you went that far? Okay, yeah, you didn't go that far. You went right there, you know? Anyways, let's see the helmet. So let me get this connected and we'll meet up there again. And we're gonna try to go out a little bit further because when you have more wind, it's a bit easier. Right there's a big wind shadow, and when you stay near the shore, you don't get the full wind that you actually get normally. And once you get some wind, okay, and you feel power, and you feel like you're moving, try to go from knee to standing. Okay, so don't wait in terms of that. And then once you're standing there, just cruise. Even if you're going slow, don't worry about going fast. You're just cruising, focus on your stance, focus on the wing, keeping it nice and high. And it's easier once you're standing too, because you're taller then. When you're on your knees, you're close to the water, so it's always touching. But once you get up and standing, then you have an easier time. Anyways, let's get up there so we have some more water time. Okay, okay. So look, you see, I get the wing. A little bit light. It's actually pretty light. Where is it, man? All right. So we're waiting for Ben. Should be coming soon. I'm surprised that he's taking as long as he's taking. Let me actually see where he is. He's walking. Where is he walking? Yeah, I actually don't even see where he is. Anyways, he should be walking up any minute. But in terms of general feedback, sometimes what happens is that, which is normal, you forget certain things that you learn on the beach. Which is why I go back to the best way of learning is the feedback loop, right? You get constant feedback. You try, you reiterate, you fall, you crash, you try again. Luckily you have protective equipment so you don't get hurt or you get minimal fatigue. You try, you fall, you try again, and until you succeed. And with feedback, hopefully you get to develop all these skills, but it's a lot of information, and that's why generally you want to break it up across a couple days, because it's just a lot of information and you get fatigued. So, you know, after 1 or 2 hours already most people are tired, and after 3 or 4 you're totaled. So it's good to pace yourself. It's good to take 2 hours essentially of lessons per day, and usually it takes people between, you know, 1 to 3 hours to sort of get the hang of the sport. I've seen very few people, unless they're hardcore athletes, that really get it quicker, when they're usually with hydrofoil experience. So there's Ben. We have no idea why he's taking so long. We're all wondering. We're all trying to figure it out. Ben, what happened? You thought you were in Boy Boy all the way down there. Where do you think I was? Oh my god. Alrighty, Ben. Let's get the board connected I'm gonna drag with you until we get to the wind, actually. So you're just hold on, and I'm gonna bring us out there, and we'll switch out there. You don't even need to connect yourself yet. Yeah, just hold on to the back, and we'll go nice and slow. And if you want, you can kick with your feet. So you see, instead of being like this, I sit on my feet, okay? And then I put more weight on this side. Look how the girl's going downwind from us, you see? And we're just going slowly. Look at her, she's doing pretty okay. There you go. So you see how she's going into the wind? See how she's doing that? It's pretty good. But she's on a dagger board, so it's a little bit easier, this part. But in reality, you're doing the sport on a wingfoil board, so it's good to practice on a wingfoil board. Okay. Get a little bit more. All right, let's start getting the leash on. Let's see what she does now. What is she gonna do? Oh, go! You got the leash on? Alright. Let's get the helmet back to you. So you see though how she has the balance, she's standing. She might come right into us. Nope. It's all good. Alright. I'll give you the wing and then we'll do the same exercise, okay? Start on your knees and then go to standing. Once you get moving a bit, here there's more wind, so it's a lot easier. And don't worry if you go a little bit further down, I'm following you, okay? The only thing is I have to swim back, so it'll take a minute. But if you do good on your knees and you really go into the wind, and you do standing, you keep the same thing. You want to keep a little bit of pressure on that side of the board, so that, and then the reverse when you're coming back. All right. I'll stay in the water for a little bit. Yeah, make sure your leash is good. That one. It's a little halfway out. Yeah, push all the way down. All right. All right. Got the wing. So just go from knees. Once you start moving, try to get standing. Keep the wing stable above your head, okay? A little bit in front of you, but mostly above your head. All right, give it a shot. Yeah. Grab the handles in the center. Your backhand as well. Your backhand is set. There you go. All right, try to get standing. Woo. How much further am I? I'm right there. You, buddy. All right. Oh, can't touch the board yet. So in this instance, I brought Ben a little bit more to the windy zone so that he has a little bit of a better chance. It's gonna be hard to tell from here. Try to get the digital zoom going. Got a wingfoil pro, a master. No helmet, no impact vest. Oh, Ben's standing. He's standing. He's up. Boof. This is gonna be the battle. is gonna be the battle for Ben. You know, when you're boogie boarding, it's a little bit easier sometimes because you're laying on your stomach. I'm not gonna say it's hard, that it's an easy sport. It's a very difficult sport at a high level, but it's a little bit different when you gotta get standing, when you gotta put in all types of factors together: the wind, your surroundings. Someone's trying to communicate with me. You think he's far away? Not that far. And basically, there's a lot of things happening, you know. And here you have a good example. Someone's on a windsurf dagger board. It's a great confidence booster. Great way to get some sort of basics down. Though the thing is, and this is my personal belief, is that once you start on a windsurf dagger board, and then you got to go down, and then you got to go down to the actual wingfoiling board you're going to be using, it changes a lot. So you're almost going to have to relearn certain skills. And in my opinion, it's a little bit better just to go straight to a wingsurf board and yeah, like go straight for a wingfoiling board, 110 liters, 130 liters. Of course, this is if you're in the normal weight range. If you're a guy that's 200, 220 pounds, or a gal, you might need a bigger board, 150 liters or more, which is hard to wingfoil in general. There's Ben going at it. But it's better to learn on a wingfoil board because this is how the sport's going to be done. And as long as you have the board that's the right size for you, and if you're a smaller individual, maybe you're going to use something smaller than 110 liters. Oh, there's Ben, went flying forward. But you get on a wingfoil board, you're going to be as close as you can to reality. And once you get onto this, then you're going to be golden. Here it's nice on the dagger board because you'll be standing, you'll be getting a little bit of wing control, but you have to go back to square one once you get onto a wingfoil board. So it's something to consider when you're riding and when you're learning to ride. So here we are, we're about 40 minutes in to Ben's part on the water. Of course, he hasn't had 40 minutes straight on the water, but this is the intro. You know, this is day one for a lot of people, where you're seeing how all the elements play together. You're getting humbled. You know, you see guys riding, and you're like, yeah, I can do that. You know, no biggie. And then you get out there in the water, and you're getting bossed around basically by Mother Nature, and you're like, wait a minute. This actually is not as easy as I thought. And then, you know, once you're humble, then you start opening up. You start being open to feedback. You start being more curious. And then you're like, you know what? All right, let me try to figure this out. Let me take my time. There's Ben trying again. Now he's coming back to shore. And that's the thing, that during the course, you know, there's people who use the BB Talk radio or some sort of communication, and don't get me wrong, it's not bad, but it's nice that you get some time alone to figure it out, you know? You get to test things, because if someone's just in your ear telling you the answers all the time, then are you actually learning, you know? Do you actually know the information, or are you just good at listening to commands? And that's the part that people, here's a guy coming in really awkwardly to the shore, foil. And that's why I also mentioned coming out of the shore break is very important. Look at this board. Oh, all right, he's got it. But coming out is very important, as well as going in, so you don't get hurt. This is a place where a lot of people get hurt. So Ben's flipping the wing around. We'll give it another shot. There he is, feedback when he comes in. Yeah, we can get his feedback when he comes in and see what's actually up. I see Yannick's next to him, trying to show him a little bit of how to just be taxiing, standing. You know, not really wingfoiling, but just taxiing. And as everyone knows, when a guy that knows is showing you something, he's like, oh look, it's this easy. You're like, yeah buddy, whatever you say. So This is the thing. You're learning a new sport. It can be a little bit frustrating sometimes, but I always go back to it. The first rule is just enjoying the time out there, you know. You're gonna get wingfoiling eventually. You're gonna get riding that motorcycle eventually. You're gonna get there eventually. But it's a process, and everyone's different. So you just gotta keep hammering at it, and eventually you get it. And here, a lot of people that are wingfoiling, they have hundreds of hours under their belt. And someone who just starts out a sport compares themselves to someone that has hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of hours, which is not fair to yourself, you know. So you really want to just take it easy, enjoy step by step. But generally speaking, between 6 to 10 hours is what you're gonna need to learn the basics. And then after that, it's water. Well, it's all gonna be water time during those 6 to 10 hours, a lot of it. But 6 to 10 hours, learn how to control the wings. You know, learn how to properly get onto the board, learn how to properly stand, get all these things down, put it all together, and you're wingfoiling. But generally speaking, between 6 to 10 hours of lessons, and then water time for unlimited, you know. You're always going to be learning no matter what level you are. So you just want to get a solid foundation, get the basics, and keep practicing. Here we are, Rudy walks, you know, a couple hundred meters, Ben's out there. I'm not really filming him too much because you can't really tell what's going on, but I can tell from what I see is that he's a little bit tired. He's doing some mistakes that he wasn't doing before. So we're going to talk to him once he comes back and see what he says. I already have my feedback, but if he wants to do one more run, we'll do one more run. But also, depending on how I see him in person, if he's too tired, sometimes it's better to take it easy and then start another day tomorrow, you know, and let all the information digest, watch some more videos to get sort of relate what you did to what the videos are saying, and then put it together. Let's see, there he's good on his knees. Try to stand up, Ben. Let's see what happens here. Oh, he's doing good on his knees there. Try to stand up. Stand up, stand up. He's just taking time on his knees. Oh, now you see he's tired. Yeah, he's a bit tired. That's one of the signs there. When you see people start standing up switch stance, when they never did that before, or if they're doing new mistakes, you know they're getting tired. Anyways, we're not going to tell him that. We're going to let him tell us. And let's just make our way through. Remember, Ben, to take off the leash. To take off the leash. Got a little bit of waves coming. Make our way to him. Ben's a good waterman though. He's spending a lot of time in the water with his boogie boarding. So at least he's comfortable in the waves. But generally speaking, when you're learning, if there's a shore break or if there's a wave spot, make sure that your instructor comes to you as soon as possible. And you want to detach yourself from the board. Okay. Let's get to him. How was it, Ben? You're tired? Yeah, sure. You're not always gonna make it back to where you started, but how you feeling though? You like it? Watch out with the wave behind you. What do you want to do? You want to go one more time? Yeah, obviously. Yeah. All right, sounds good. And what do you think you did good? What could you work on? On everything. All right. Well, we'll start on something then. If you can, yeah. All right. We'll do one more run and then we'll call it a day. All right. But one thing, did you realize what you did on the last one right now when you're trying to stand? What did you do? No, here, right when you tried to stand right here, what happened? But did you realize that your feet were reversed? You're goofy. No, I know, but you have to always stand. Goofy. No, you have to stand regular. But you stood switch. When you're gonna go out, you're gonna have your right foot forward, and when you come back in, you're gonna have left foot forward. Yeah. Regular, yeah. Hold the board. when you're coming back to shore, you're gonna be like this. The other way. Switch your body. Look at. No, you see? That's why. Then you see the helmet? So when you're coming back, to shore, when you're coming this way, okay, what foot is forward? Which foot are you gonna have forward? Your left or your right? Try here. Try to stand up 1 sec. Get this board back. Okay. Take it on the knees. I'm holding it. Yeah. Okay. Which foot are you gonna put forward? Uh-huh. Okay, you did the opposite. You went toe side. Yeah, goofy. Okay, cool. Let's go to Voi Voi, try to run, and we do one more run, and then we call it a day. But that was good. That was good. Some progress there. But the wind is good. That's for sure. Catch a little swell. Yanni. Come. There's Ben making his way here. And you know, this is gonna be his last run. He did good. And I realize I'm on Zoom, so might look a little bit close up. But he's been doing good, and it's a lot of practice, a lot of information. So now this is our third run, which doesn't seem like a lot maybe, but the sun, the elements, the mental energy, the physical energy you're using definitely starts adding up. Ah, we do one more run. You feel it? Tired. Ah, your knees. I told you, do you want knee pads? On what? On the foil? That's why I said bring knee guards, but I let you be the decision maker. Nah, I know, but it protects your legs. But you feel okay? Alright, let's go. Those are battle wounds. It happens. And that's also why when you're falling, you know, you might as well sort of get away from the board. Don't try to, like, you want to really try to avoid falling on the foil. Like, you have the protective equipment, but still, it can get you. You know, so obviously we try to avoid that, but the biggest, most important thing is protect your coco. So, one thing that we're going to do when we're coming back into shore, do you want to try to bring in the board yourself, or do you want me to help you out? No, but I'm saying to get back into land. Okay, I'll help you out. Alright, but let's do it again. We're going to try to do what we did together, but you do it by yourself. Alright, so a little bit of weight on your back feet, on your heels. Alright, just by sitting. You just sit on your legs, and then that's going to help angle the board up. And then a little bit of weight sideways, and what you do with your hands is that you try to use your wing as well to help balance yourself, the power in the wing. Once you feel comfortable, if you feel like it's good, the wind, try to stand, you know, and go out as far as you want. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and then you come back, and I'll pick you up somewhere. You'll be fine. Yeah. But that's because you gotta just keep it steady. Like you did on the beach, you try to keep it steady in the water. Alrighty. Ben is now, see already with his second session, he's more comfortable, he's getting himself set up. These are small things that you might not notice sometimes, but look, he's doing it all by himself. So what we did together, now he's putting it together by himself. This is progress. And we're just on day one. And probably by his second session, you know, look at that, almost looks like a pro. By his second session, he'll probably be standing up a lot better. I always find that one day to let the information, you know, one day to let the information digest is key to progression. Look at him standing, all right? Boom, look at that. Look at that. That's probably why he hit his knee. How he's falling is very close to the foil, and he's landing straight foot. No, he's doing good. He's doing good. Oh. Oh, he did the anchoring. Look at this guy. Did the anchoring. Boom. Okay. That's the first time I've seen someone in Cabarete with the anchor. See, he left his wing. I don't know if you see that floating. Now he's gonna paddle up and he's just trying to pump foil. Cool. Alright, Ben's getting some power. His hand position can improve on the wing. Not need too much thought behind that. But it's fine for now. We'll work on that with time. Alright, there he's standing, boom, and he popped off. But you see, that's where the wing control really helps you out. When you get in the habit of having that wing nice above your head, slightly forward, and you can keep it steady there, controlling it, then once you get to the board, ideally you can translate that what you did on the beach to the board, and that's going to help you already eliminate one element. If you have very good wing control, then that allows you, once you're at the water part on the board, to focus on the board control or the board management. And that's the thing, the sport is multi-dimensional, and two of the dimensions is the wing and the board, and the management of those two things, and combining them to work together. A lot of people sort of want to go straight to the water because they're being bored, or they think it's boring to be on the land, but it's really good to get all those wing skills developed essentially on land, so that when you get to the water, at least you have, let's say, 30 to 50% of the wing foiling problem solved. And then after that, you start having time to focus on getting your balance right, how to stand properly and generate power in the wing, etc., etc. Here he goes again. I don't know if you can see him. I still just keep trying to film, give you a little. All right, he has the wing up. He's moving faster than before. First foot's up. He's trying to control the wing. He's really thinking about it. He's still on his knees. Boom, first foot's up again. And then he just needs to pop off. All right, now he's off. Now he's standing. Standing. Oh, putting it all together. So, one feedback that I'm going to be giving him when he comes back is to remember, when you're standing on the board, all right, you want to be standing on the board like if you're standing on land. You don't want to be too light-footed, because then sort of what happens there is that you fly off. You jump off the board almost automatically by yourself, because you're not grounding yourself to the board. And that's a common mistake that happens. So all these little sort of mistakes, we're going to solve them with feedback, and then hopefully by the next session all this information registers into his mind, and by the next session he's going to put it all together, and he'll be like, wow, this is a lot easier. And this is what I see. This is with stand-up paddleboarding as well. When you go down in volume, the first day you're struggling, and then after that you got the hang of it on your next session. So here Ben's going out again. Let's see. Apologies for that sneeze. Bless me, bless you. Alright. It's probably too far to tell, but he's there, he's on his knees, he's moving. So one thing is that as he tries to stand up, his wing always, and there he put too much weight backwards and he got foiling. So all types of different mistakes that are common, nothing to get frustrated about, but now it's just to troubleshoot and just get one thing solved after another, and that's why I always go back to it. Water time is key, because there's no other way to, well, I guess watching videos is one thing, it's not water time. Watching videos in the land part, but spending time wing foiling is the best way to learn. And then of course having feedback so you can avoid doing the same mistakes over and over again, which is unfortunate. But that's why when you have an instructor, when you have a coach or a friend or someone filming you, then you could do feedback. I do know that there's some places in the world that people don't have an instructor that they can access, and then you have to go to self-learning, which is fine as long as you manage to get the right board and equipment for the spot that you're riding at, and for yourself as an individual, and then also watching sufficient information to build up a good knowledge base, practicing on the land, and then going out there. And sometimes if you have video feedback, that helps out a lot. And if you don't have video feedback, then you sort of wish that someone can help you out by giving you verbal feedback, but then you also have to feel it out yourself. So there's different ways of self-learning, but here luckily we have a lot of people around. Ben has myself, he has YouTube videos, and he's gonna be able with time of practice to get better and better. But like we are, we're just an hour and a half in, 2 hours into the course, so learning. And now tonight he's gonna have a bit of homework, watch some videos. Tomorrow we'll go out for another session, maybe 1 hour or two. And hopefully that's going to be enough for him to basically get up and riding. And then after that, he has his whole life ahead of him in a way, to just keep practicing and practicing to master it. Because after this challenge that he has of riding this big board, he's gonna have to start cutting down on board sizes. He's gonna have to start riding smaller foils, and there's gonna be a new challenge that's gonna be happening basically all the time. You know, it's a never-ending journey. And I realized that the video is very zoomed in. Let me zoom this out. Ready to go here. We're gonna send a message to Cloudy from the shop, who's gonna be coming out here as well to practice a little bit. Gonna leave this like that. Apologies, guys. I am keeping my eye out on Ben. Actually, he's with Yannick right now, and Yannick's probably giving him some feedback. Puedas. All right. Yeah, Yannick is giving him feedback. I see it from far. So everyone always try to help everyone out. You know, that's the nice thing about this sport. It's a bit of a community sport. Definitely here we have nice and easy conditions in Cabarete. So, you know, once he's out there, me as an instructor or as a person, I don't got to worry too much. I can see him clearly. Of course, here it's far. It looks like it's all far, but it's all really close. And I see that he's slowly just drifting down the beach. And now I'm gonna have to walk to him and give him a helping hand. So we will see that. Gerald, we're here doing lessons. You guys are gonna be on a YouTube video. Unfortunately, you're gonna be on a YouTube video, Gerald. Representing the Blue. Not because Ben, he's all the way out there and he's learning. How was the lessons, Raquel? You got riding? Both ways. Eso pasa. Alright. Now Yannick is like talking to him, and who knows what they're doing. Yeah. Ben. Yeah. But the thing is, I don't have a helmet on or a jacket, and I should. So we're switching helmets. Mañana. Alright. That's Gerald and Raquel learning how to kiteboard, getting the hang of the sport. You know, and that's the thing with all these sports. They're all gateway. So eventually I know that Gerald's gonna maybe get interested in wingfoiling, even though I think he's definitely more of a kiter, because he's more of an aggressive rider. And kiting, you can be a little bit more aggressive, like a windsurfer. And Ben is doing the same mistake, which is riding goofy when he should be regular, coming back short. But that's the thing, is that you always want to remember that when you're going out, in this case, in this beach, right foot forward, and when you're coming back, left foot forward. It's gonna vary to your spot, of course, but generally speaking, it's better to learn always regular and not goofy or toe-sided, whatever word you want to use. People always sort of interchange that. But it's also the fatigue kicking in. And Ben's doing good though. He's at the same spot. Trying to get onto the board, let's see. Trying to get on. Yannick's riding right next to him. You see Yannick right there. Okay, there's Ben. Trying to make it back. He's already far from the starting point, but it's all good. This is the practice mode. Got some guys coming in. I want to stress this, if you're already at this part of the video, remember, wear a helmet, wear an impact vest at all times. Whether you're helping a friend out, whether you're riding by yourself, especially when you're riding by yourself, wear the protective gear. You never know when or what can happen. So you want to try to be, oh, yeah, Ben's a little bit tired, I can tell. You know, I said that last run, but this run, it's definitely sinking in. He is a high energy guy, you know, he's a waterman, he's an athlete, but it takes a toll on you. So really, in general, when you're gonna be learning, I would, generally speaking, probably cap out at around 2 hours in one day, unless you do 3 hours or 4 hours with breaks. If you're in a spot that you can do 2 sessions, here you can't do 2 sessions, but generally speaking, you get that 1 session in, that's around an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's gonna be more than enough practice per day. Now, once you get riding and you can actually start off, you can go out and go back to where you started. There, you can do a lot more time. I'm just gonna clean the camera a little bit. All right, there you can do a lot more time, but if you're going straight, doing 3 hours straight or 4 hours, it's crazy. You're a madman. And at one point, you're gonna get to a point of diminishing returns. We're hitting that point right now. That's why I take the decision that this will be the last ride in. He's done super good. He's done really well. And now it's just gonna be to rest. And tomorrow, or the next time we get to go out together, go back at it. And then there, we're gonna really see some progress. So you can tell here. He's wondering where he's at. It's also a new feeling for a lot of people to be out in the ocean and sort of wondering, where the heck am I? But here it's always nice because no matter what happens, you can always get blown all the way back to shore. Alright. Swim out. What happened then? You're tired? You're tired? Let's take the leash off. All good? Oh, okay. I know. But are you goofy regular?
Regular.
Well, I'm saying when you surf. You're regular? Huh. Strange that you do that. Let's see the wing real quick. Remember to hold it. No! Hold the board. Your head. I was like, at least we can get it on the video. Then doing the mistake on day 1. Let's see the helmet. No, you did good. But next session, you're gonna do even better. Because I saw. Because there's a lot of information, you know, for your first day. So your next session is gonna be a lot better. And yeah, I told Khalid to come down. We'll meet at the beach. We'll do a bit of feedback, and then we call it a day. All right. Let's see the board. All right. Claro. That's also the thing. Sometimes you gotta pick the right time to generate power and get on the foil. See? Alright, there we go. It worked out. Sometimes people keep working, no wind, no conditions, not the right time. You really want to pick your moments. Get going. All right, once you get near shore, make sure there's no waves coming behind you. In this case, the current is a little bit stronger today. Always important to look at your surroundings. See, okay, is there any waves coming? And then we're gonna go in. With these big boards, they're really difficult to carry, so you wanna pick the right time. And get it out there. Ben, you're not gonna carry anything?
Huh?
Grab the board?
Dito.
Uh-huh. Good that you feel a little bit of the struggle. Carry your own gear around. Ben's a strong guy, you know, so he can carry it. So once we get up here, Ben, it'll be good to get a little bit of feedback. See. I don't know, you're taking a photo of? Anyways, we got a fan club right here happening, but we're gonna have to go away. This is the fan club. This is the fan club. All right, Ben. So just give a quick recap. 1 minute. What were your thoughts about the lesson? We're gonna give you the helmet, so you know you're wearing a helmet. All right. So what's the feedback, Ben?
That's really good.
Talk loud. Make sure people hear you. You don't have to say it was very good. You could say the lesson sucked. You could say we did nothing. Say whatever you want.
Last lesson, Cabarete by Charles Osterlund here.
This is just a propaganda video at this point. It's not propaganda. What did you learn? Did you learn something? Did you realize that it's maybe a little bit harder than you thought?
Yeah.
Are you happy that you brought a
I'm happy.
bigger board, or did you want a smaller board?
That's good for now. So let's keep practicing and
Tomorrow you're ready for the next session. Your knees. Yeah, we don't know how that happened.
With the foil, but
Because one thing you're gonna see is that when you jump off very close to the board, and then you try to land straight in, and I think you must have hit yourself on the jump down, and then you just didn't feel it because your adrenaline, you know. But in any case, I'm glad that we got out there. You know, we probably did about 2 hours in total, an hour and a half, roughly. An hour and a half, 2 hours. And there's still a little bit of a difference, you see, of like how you control the wing on the beach to how you control it when you're in the water. It's two different things. Because then you also have the stability part. And this is why practicing on the beach is important. Because then once you get on the water, you're a lot more like sort of prepared, right? And then you're still gonna struggle either way. Yeah, exactly. It's not easy.
try it and then
You'll see, but that's the whole thing that I keep saying is that in the end with practice, you're gonna get there, you're gonna get better. And that's why generally speaking is between 6 to 10 hours of probably lessons. You know, now you're 2 hours in, let's say. But tonight, if you watch a video or two, and then tomorrow you come out here, you're gonna do great, you know. So either way, we'll chat later. We'll end this video here. And as always, guys, we're gonna leave this video with a view of Cabarete. This is Ben taking lessons, his first lessons, you know, and this is a bit of a real demo. There is a lot of information, and when you're learning, every instructor is gonna have a different way of sort of approaching the lesson. But generally speaking, I like to give the basics, and then day one, just sort of see what people do naturally, right? And try to course correct a little bit here and there, but it's your first day. On your second day, third day, fourth day, then you can go a little bit more into the specific, a little bit deeper, but it's always good to sort of see what you do and then try to course correct from there, instead of trying to get it perfect on the first day, or on the first moment, or the first try. In any case, guys, I'll leave it at that. If you made it to this video, I hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. Get out there, learn how to wing foil, have some fun, and yeah, you know, this is a journey of 1,000 steps, but it all starts off with taking the first one. And Ben just took his first couple steps. So this is good. And I'll leave you with the Cabarete. If you ever have any thoughts, comments, questions, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. My WhatsApp and email is always in the comments or in the description. And you can send us a message. I'll try to get back to you. Usually I always do. And looking forward to it. If you're thinking to come down to Cabarete, to kiteboard, to wingfoil, to relax, to enjoy, consider it. It's a great spot, guys. All right. Enjoy. And that's that. Charles, in and out.